fellas, not even Michael Jordan had a perfect shooting percentage when he was active in the NBA, which means it's okay for all of us to have an off night from time to time. But when it comes to fixing off nights in the sack, the answer does not lie with a sketchy gas station pill or a boner pill filled with crazy side effects. Oh, no, no, no. The answer comes from joy mode. Oh, yeah. Because whether you're happy or unhappy with your bedroom performance, why not perform even better? I bet your partner would like that. And Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sexy time. Oh yeah. It's designed to support erection quality, firmness, and sex drives. It contains clinically supported doses of arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C. And best of all, Joy Mode is safe and backed by science. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. Plus, all ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. So I don't know about you guys, but I'll never go back to over-the-counter drugs after trying Joy Mode. It's small enough to fit in your wallet and take with you on the go. It's the perfect travel companion to take you to sexy town. Oh, yeah. So don't miss your chance to up your game in the bedroom, people. Go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Great sex solved naturally. It's Joy Mode, people. And we are recording.
Oh, on a different note, if someone asks me for money and I know that their shoes are expensive shoes, I don't give them money. I'm pretty generous, but like if someone's rocking some expensive sneakers, I'm like, do you need money?
Oh, totally.
If I give you money, are you gonna apply to something practical? Or are you gonna buy some more Jordans?
No, totally. I have to say, I'm probably in the portion of people that give too much money. I might be a sucker, and I know this. I donate to a bunch of charities, and I see homeless people, and I gotta give it to them. But if I see you're rocking shoes that are worth more than my shoes, you have a cell phone that's nicer than my cell phone, and you're wearing an Apple Watch, I'm gonna question whether you actually need it. Like, you know what I mean? And there's people
Yeah.
out there that are fucking doing it. Now, the people I tend to give to are not wearing clothes that can pay my rent, you know. It's like, what? It's wild.
A long time ago, someone by the name of Clay Aiken told me that if he ever sees a performance on the subway, any sort of performance, he thinks it's worth at least $1. And so I always try to have a couple dollars with me at all times. And anytime there's a showtime on the train, I give him $1. And I think I don't have the balls to like do stand up on a train or to perform in some
No.
capacity. So if you're gonna sing or play a mariachi band or whatever, yeah, here's $1. Good for you.
Or dance those flippy guys on the train that like
Yeah.
fucking, like hang on the bars and do flip. Like you could fucking that's a moving train, dude. Like you could easily slip and break your
Yeah.
neck and you're done. And that's it. That's it for you. And you know those guys got no health care. But something does happen to me often, especially in New York City, because there's a lot of performers, where I'll see someone who either needs it a lot or it has like a good person, you know, a good show going on. And I'll give them my $5, whatever I have on me. Sometimes even I have given more. And then I'm walking down the street and then I see someone else and I have no money anymore. And I'm like, fuck, you know, like, what are you going to do? You know, just like, that sucks. But every once in a while you see like a really good act. You're like, yeah, God damn it. I wish I had something. But the good subway performers are starting to put up little signs that says, I have Venmo. So gotta watch out for those. I've given my share on Venmo. Which is smart because you can give a better tip and then you can sneak in a little like motivational message in there, you know? Like keep it going, dude.
Yeah,
You
nice
got
Apple
this.
Watch.
Yeah, let me find you in the bathroom of the subway. Jerk each other off. Wait, what? Anyways, we're gonna do this in 3, 2, 1.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge.
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the FratChat podcast.
All young men like 3 things. Food, booze, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia,
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's the FratChat podcast. I'm Carlos Garcia with Chris Seymour. How's it going, Mr. Mo?
What's up, man? I'm still like a little bit sick. It's been 2 weeks.
It looks like you're cosplaying being a lumberjack today. You got the trees in the background. You got the flannel on. Looks like you're ready.
I can take the flannel off, baby. You let me know. Whatever you want.
Back up. God, he's naked under there.
I'm a little under the weather. How about you? How are you feeling?
I myself was under the weather this week, and I think it was from, well, actually, speaking of the weather, I think it was because of the weather, but also going to mics and shit like that, exchanging microphones, being on the subway, the weather changing. I also got terrible sleep this week, which was just the perfect combination to get you sick. And that's what happened to me. So,
Okay, so I
I'm
have a
waking up
question.
a little better today, but not necessarily 100%.
Sometimes people put little like condoms on the microphones. What does
Yeah,
that
I have a
do?
bunch of those. I just honestly forgot. I stopped doing it as much during COVID, but I should do it again. It's just, and this is like so like stupid because it makes me feel like I'm 6. Like I feel like the kids are gonna make fun of me in school.
Well, I
You
just
know?
feel like if I blow hot air out of my mouth onto a microphone, the only way that you're going to get sick is if you put the microphone in your mouth. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but 2 things actually. I'm a
okay.
leaner where I lean it like right here on my chin a little bit,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's not touching. And I know a lot of people do it too, but I saw someone clean a mic, when you unscrew the top off, and there was like so much like shit in there.
Oh, really?
And
Like
it's like you
sludge, like when like in your bowl when you smoke weed?
yeah, pretty much. But like
Ew.
spit, dust, all the shit, you know. It's like, oh, that's probably how COVID really started. Some fucking jackass ate the fucking bat soup and went to a mic.
Yeah, probably.
And then here we are. Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad. So I do think it might be wise if I start using the mic condoms again. But to be fair, in some weird way, I do feel like us comedians, you get sick all the time, but then we're gonna have a stronger immune systems by the end of the day than the average bear. Because we've got
Well,
everything.
whenever I get sick, I just stay sick. I don't get sick often, but when I get sick, I just stay sick. And then
Yeah.
so my doctor gave me some antibiotics and some steroids because he was like,
Wow,
dude, like you're always just
brother.
a mess. But check this out. I went to my ear, nose, and throat doctor, my ENT and
Oh,
allergy associates, and I had to do a CAT scan of my face to see what's going on with my sinuses because we had to do surgery again. I had to do another like nose job. And
wow.
they were like, one of my past surgeries, they're like, something must have happened because I'm missing a piece of a bone in my face. And I've had some traumas in my face before, but I think what happened was, do you remember 7 years ago on my birthday when I had a really, really bad nosebleed and had to go to
Yeah,
the
we're supposed to
hospital?
do stuff, and you end up in the hospital.
Yeah, it was all my birthday. I had a birthday brunch I had to get to, and I couldn't get to it because I was in the emergency room. So listeners, this is what happened. I sneezed and blew my nose, and I ruptured some sort of blood vessel in my sinuses, somewhere in my nose, and I couldn't stop. My nose wouldn't stop bleeding, and when I plugged up my nose with toilet paper, the blood came out of my mouth. It was a lot of blood. So
Ugh.
I went to the emergency room, and in Brooklyn at this emergency room, it was so bizarre because everyone had a gunshot wound or a knife wound or and I'm just this like skinny
I
little white
sneezed
boy
too hard.
with yeah, I'm this skinny little white boy with a nosebleed. And so they gave me nasal spray and an ice pack and sent me home. And then so I go home and it was
No.
bleeding so much. I was like, maybe I should go to another place. So I went to an urgent care and they were like, this is really bad. Like, you need to go to the emergency room. And I was like, I just came back from there. They gave me this stuff. So then they said, we're gonna put you in an ambulance to another hospital. And I was like, I'll Uber it. I'm not paying for an ambulance. So I go to this other hospital and they inserted into my face this thing called a tampon, but it's not for your vagina, it's for your nose. And it's these like two like really stiff, hard blue absorbent things.
Oh yeah, SEMO.
And they hold your shoulders back, they hold you down, and they say, 1, 2, 3, huh! And they shove this thing up your nose, and it hurt so bad. And I've had my face broken before, and I felt like they broke my face.
Oh,
And so my doctor thinks that at that moment,
oh,
they broke part of the bone
oh.
in my face because after that, they tried some other techniques, and ultimately I had to get a blood transfusion, and then I had surgery where they had to go in and they cauterized some stuff.
Oh, God.
But they found a mass, and the way they described it, I don't think they realized that it was a piece of bone that was just floating around in there.
Ah,
And so, anyway, my
oh,
doctor today was like, I mean, yesterday was like, um, we can go on record and say what we found and write up a report if you want to use it for um, a court case. I was like, I just want to breathe again, So like, I'm not really interested in all that, but like, that's crazy. I also think to myself, like, I
wow.
could have died. I lost a lot of blood.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whatever they did, yeah, they may have broken a little piece of bone, but like I'm not dead. So I don't want to be that person that like finds a loophole and sues, you know what I mean?
No, totally. If anything, the last place I sent you home with the ice pack, that's the fucking place. But
Well, that
that
place
you
I
get
got out of
sued.
my
Good lord.
copay. I sent them documentation of my surgeries and things because they were trying to come after me for like I think like $400 or whatever for the emergency room visit. And I was like, I'm not paying
Bitches.
that because y'all did me dirty. You gave me an ice pack and I needed
Bitches.
surgery.
Yeah, a bunch of bitches. What the fuck? Yeah, the healthcare system in America is the goddamn worst. Wow, dude. So can they like 3D print that bone or something? What do they do?
I
What are you
don't
gonna
know,
do?
but he was like, "I gotta send you out to a different specialist." He's like, "'Cause," he's like, "I've been doing surgery for a long time, but I'm not touching this." He's like, "No, sorry,
Oof.
Bob." And then they showed me like, so they showed me some of the CAT scans, and if it's black in your sinuses, that means that there's like airflow and it's healthy. And if it's grayed out, that means that there's like disease. I mean, it's completely grayed out. And he just kept saying to me like,
Oh.
all this disease, 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 and he pretty much just called
Oh.
me a walking disease. And then I was like, "The fuck is that? That's not nice."
Should we not do comedians roasting each other for 60 seconds today? Are you like this guy handled it?
Pretty much.
Your clothes are tacky. And you can barely read. It's like, okay, I'm here for a fucking physical checkup.
Yeah.
This has
No
nothing to do with anything.
areas open.
And you're gonna die alone.
Reading is
Doctor, you
what?
suck.
Fundamental.
Oh man, that's awful, dude. Well, hopefully they figured that out because it's never good when a good doctor's like, I'm not touching that. It's
And
like
I
that
and
sucks.
my mom, she's
I've
like,
been there.
did you have a nice appointment?" And I was like, "He called me a
Mhm.
disease."
Yeah, what? No, I had the opposite of nice, mom. Can you call this guy and shit on him? That's what you need.
And
Your mother to give him a call.
they
That
gave me a
solves everything.
CD. They're
A
like, "Here's a
CD?
CD of all your images." I don't want that. Why would I want to look at a diseased face all day?
I don't even have a way of playing CDs anymore. My computer doesn't have it anymore.
Oh, me
I'd
too.
have
I
to.
didn't even think about that.
It's like I
Oh
don't know what.
shit.
I don't have a DVD player. I don't think PS5 or PS4 even, which is what I have, can play those
No.
types of
And I
CDs.
have I have a Nintendo Switch. I can't play CDs on that either.
No, definitely not. So,
Oh wow.
Tom, thanks for
That
nothing,
Thanks for
jackass.
nothing, jackass. I want my copay back.
Let's call out the obvious, guys. Everyone wants to head into the bedroom with confidence, feeling like the best version of themselves. But the problem is that sometimes our thoughts get in the way of our performance down there. Or maybe we feel that we're just not reaching our full potential. And what are our options, really? Do we pick up a sketchy gas station pill or you're prescribed a drug with a huge list of side effects? Nuh-uh, because that's where good friends at Joy come in, people. Oh, yeah. Now, imagine a supplement you can take like your favorite greens packet that gives you that extra dose of confidence and saves you the embarrassment and hassle of a traditional erection pill. Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is an all natural and science backed solution to increase blood flow, firmness, stamina, and performance down below. Oh, yeah. It comes in a palm sized packet just like this guy right here, like your favorite little electrolyte powder. All you gotta do is stir it into 6 to 8 ounces of water 45 minutes before sexual activity and watch the magic unfold. Literally. Now, not only is this the only supplement you'll need in the bedroom, but it also supports your blood vessels, cardiovascular health, athletic performance, blood pressure, and more. So even on days when you're not having sex, you can take the SPB to boost nitric oxide in your body, which not only supports your erection quality long term, but also increases blood flow circulation, keeping you in tip-top shape. Oh yeah. This allows for your cardiovascular system to pump blood more seamlessly and effectively to the areas of your body that need it, whether during workouts, sexual activity, or your regular daily exertion. When combined with a healthy diet, good sleep, and exercise, you will greatly improve your cardiovascular health. Now, the 30 pack comes in a perforated box, perfect for your supplement cabinet, pantry, or bathroom vanity. It's the perfect 1 month supply. Support your erections, athletic performance, heart health, and overall quality of life with Joy Mode, people. Whether you're on the move or traveling, our compact sachets are easy to pack and take with you. On the go, oh yeah. And get a Joy Mode boost anytime and anywhere. Redefine your intimacy and go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Ingredients with integrity, it's Joy Mode, people. Now, men across the nation have turned to Joy Mode with over 1 million packets taken to elevate their sexual performance. So don't get left behind. Well, anyways, speaking of jackasses, I do have a quick little, I guess it's news that just
Is it about
happened.
Florida?
No, it's about One Direction because hit it! Well, the world is reeling. I don't know if you saw recently that One Direction singer Liam Payne passed away in Argentina after apparently, allegedly, he was on a drug-fueled binge. Something really bad happened to him, apparently, and then he might have jumped off a balcony, and he passed away. And the world is super sad about it. But one crew that got themselves in flames is TMZ because they fucking went ahead and rather than just saying what they saw, they posted pictures of the body on the internet, which is so fucked up. It's like it was something like, "Oh, we can report from his tattoos because here's the picture we took him." It's like these match his tattoos or some shit like that. It's like, damn it, TMZ. Like, you could just say we saw the body, we'll believe you. And they put that out there before even like his whole family knew even that he was dead. So like that's how they found out, which is so fucked up. So
Oh
I don't know,
no.
man. It's bad. It's really bad, and it's terrible. Obviously, that this happened. It's mental health. It's a very important thing, and I personally know someone who recently committed suicide, and people look like they have the perfect lives, and all of a sudden, you don't know what they're battling on the inside. And clearly, stuff had been going on with Liam. Allegedly, he was dropped from a record label these last couple of days. So some people are saying maybe the relapse was because of that. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad when someone like that who you think has it all thinks there's no way out except that. But it's also awful when you have these fucking media trying to make a dime off it who just can't understand. Like maybe some things should be off limits. Like, you maybe shouldn't be the first to have that picture. It's like when Kobe Bryant died, and like they're trying to leak pictures of his fucking dead body after a helicopter accident. Like, can you imagine what the body looks like after a helicopter accident? It's like, dude, why would you want to put that out there even?
It's so
So,
sad. And I think that some news stations choose not to address suicides typically,
mhm,
because they don't want to fuel more suicides. They don't want to glorify it and lead people to believe that there's any sort of like fame that's associated with taking your life. You know what I mean? And so
totally,
I kind of wish that and the news stations would not make exceptions for a celebrity. Like just let their family heal. Just you don't
totally,
have to get details. Just he
totally,
passed away. It's really sad. I don't think I feel like everyone's so nosy, wants to know everything about everything. And if someone died, does do the details really matter?
totally. It's
If he
like,
wasn't murdered, then I mean if someone was murdered, yeah, find the asshole that did it. But if he wasn't, just
yeah,
just say he passed. He passed, and our thoughts are with the family. I don't want to know the details, and I don't think people need to. And it's up to the family whether or not they want to share the details. Now they want to go out and say down the line like we want to support suicide awareness, and this is our story. Okay, that's fine. But let them have that choice.
totally. Though I do feel I'm in a weird place. I'm more like in the middle with it because I feel like it is relevant to let people know that, hey, he fell over a balcony as opposed to like, he was murdered by some crazy fan. So I think some level of detail is important, but not fucking like a picture of his body after he landed on his head too. So like he literally like split like a fucking melon. So it's like, do you need to put that out there? That picture, like you can just say he committed suicide. Very sad. Our photographers were on, our camera people were on site, and we were able to confirm that the tattoos on the body we saw match his tattoos, and leave it at that. And you were the first to put it out there, so you still got the scoop. But you don't fucking need to show us this. It's like they had like a tarp over him, and it's like it's like, ooh, that can't have been a pretty crime scene. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that
Ugh.
much.
Yucky.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something really controversial, but I think sometimes um I don't promote suicide by any means. I'm gonna first off by saying that I don't promote it. However, sometimes I wonder, like, if I was diagnosed with a really scary terminal cancer and then
Mhm.
it was no hope for surviving it, it's my choice whether or not I want to go through treatments. I could just say, listen, like,
Mhm.
if it's not if I have a half a percentage of a chance of living, then I don't want to put myself through chemo and radiation if it's not going to do like just let me
Mhm.
finish out my days in peace. Just make me comfortable. Do you know what I mean? So I feel
Totally.
like we had the choice to do that when it comes to physical health. Now, mental health, like I see people on the streets and the train stations talking to themselves and they're in rough shape and like I can't imagine any quality of life. Like I would never want to live like that. I wouldn't want to see it in my family members live like that. And so I feel like if you are so bad mentally and emotionally, if you've tried everything, you've gone to therapy and you've tried medication and you've been to clinics and different institutions, like part of me feels like it's not my place to judge what they do with their lives. Like I feel like it's sad and it's horrible, and I wish that no one took their lives. My best friend took his life, and it's horrible. But on some level, part of me is like, that
You
was their choice.
understand as
That
more
was
so, yeah,
that
I
was their
feel like it's
choice, and it's not really fair for
yeah.
me to, like, criticize that choice because other people make similar choices when it comes to physical health, and they're in a better place now, and they're at peace, and who am I to judge someone, So, there's
Yeah.
always different circumstances, but sometimes I just feel like, um, obviously, suicide is bad, but, I just feel like a little bit of an asshole judging people's choices when I'm not in their head and I don't know what's going on, and
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're
so
saying. Yeah, for sure, for sure. People, are quick to make judgment about those who commit suicide, but that feeling of hopelessness and stuff, it's hard to describe, and it's hard to put yourself in someone's shoes when they really feel like there's nowhere else to turn and that it will never get better and that's the best thing for them to do. It's never an easy choice for that person either. And
Yeah.
they know they're gonna hurt a lot of people. They know what they're gonna miss. And ultimately, I do know I do feel like that's why he was also perhaps relapsing so he could shut that little voice in his head that was gonna tell him to stop. And it's awful. Uh, I personally feel like there's always a way out, you know. So you got to keep trucking, but my mind, my mental health is not in that place. So you have to be able to at least relate to them in some human level because we're not all perfect, and life can take a few swings at us, but all of a sudden we end up in that same shoes. So um,
Like
if
I
you are going through something like this, speak up. You can dial 988, you can Google it, even chat with them, you can text 988 and talk to someone. But, talk to someone you trust. But when your mental health isn't doing so good, you know what I mean? It's important to get that stuff out there and at least vent. Because if you hold it in, it just increases that feeling of helplessness. You know what I mean? And you never know. When you talk to other people, you see what other people are dealing with, and you'll realize, "Man, okay, maybe I'm not so alone in this. Like, I'm not fucking crazy. Maybe I should truck along for a little longer," you know?
No, there's so many different medications out there, and for me personally, trying different ones was a little frustrating because it would exacerbate or it would like
Mhm.
some of my emotions or it would numb me and that wasn't really what I was looking for. But like once they got like my like a cocktail just right, I was like, okay, this is manageable. Um
Mhm.
any little bit helps. I think that mental health is so interesting to me because, you know, if someone's sick physically, they might look sick. They might, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
there's some people that look great and they don't feel great. And
Mhm.
it's such like a deceptive like phenomena, like mental illness is so
Totally.
crazy to me because there's no well, there might be physical symptoms, but typically there's no you just can't spot it with the naked eye. You know what I mean?
Totally,
And
totally.
and it's so weird that in my neighborhood there is like a minute clinic or urgent care on every corner, but there aren't there's no signage that says if you don't feel good in your head, come see us. There's nothing, around that talks about like check your emotional state. There's no advertisements
Totally.
like that. It's just
But there's
everyone
still
just
such a
prioritizes.
stigma. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because at least in America, it's way better than the rest of the world. But like Europeans like laugh at fucking mental health. Like the British, they're like, "What? No, I'm not doing that." And same thing with, my parents, for example, are both like therapy. We
Mhm.
have you. It's like, no, 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 no. That's what people who need therapy say.
Yeah.
And they're great people. I just think everybody needs therapy at some degree. Even like one check-in. I'm not signed up to a regular therapist right now, but I've been to one, and I'm not gonna lie, it was like some groundbreaking shit when I did. It was awesome. Uh, but I do recommend that everybody at least check it out sometime because it's good to get your stuff out there, and it's good to find out you're actually not crazy. You know what I mean? Like when you hold stuff in like that, you start thinking the worst of yourself sometimes. It's good for a doctor to be like, yeah, no, dude, like it's fine. I get it.
Well, I think
I
like
got people like you all the time.
a good therapist gives you tools of way to like process things and way to communicate moving forward with like your significant other or whomever in a healthier
Mhm.
fashion. So it's not just like I mean, sometimes it's good just to get it off your chest, but also like it's also good to leave with like something tangible to work with, you know?
Totally, totally. And then, yeah, finding out how to communicate what's going on with you is sometimes the hardest part in the whole thing. Whether it's depression, whether it's like some kind of like you said, when you're getting your dosage right, with medication, you'll have certain shifts, and it's like, how the fuck do you put that into words? And it's like a chemical thing going on in your brain, So it's a good therapist will help you put that out there, so then you can at least navigate the waters better with your significant others, your family, your friends, and you know, and they're good about things like boundaries and shit like that. I don't know. I just think everybody should check out a therapist, like even like for like once or twice. Just check it out. Trust me. We're not sponsored by any therapists or anything. It's just these
There's
things keep
BetterHelp
happening.
online. There's a lot of good resources out there.
Totally, totally. But anyways, on to a double set of news. And hit it again! And apparently, this is crazy because hackers have reportedly gained control of, you guessed it, robot vacuums across the United States. That's right. They're hacking the vacuums. Daniel Swenson, a Minnesota-based lawyer, shared with Australia's ABC News that his vacuum suddenly entered his living room and began yelling offensive language in front of his family. Swenson described the voice as sounding like a teenager's. Apparently, the hackers are using the vacuums, like the Roombas, to come into people and shout racist obscenities in their owners' homes. These vacuums come equipped with remote viewing capabilities, raising concerns that hackers could have access to devices' cameras as well. Another victim in LA recounted how their dog was chased around their house by a rogue vacuum, coincidentally on the same day as the Swenson's incident. So I'm not gonna lie, that's hilarious. I would not want
I think it's pretty
Stella being
funny.
chased by a Roomba. But if my Roomba starts slowly coming into my room and starts calling me a wetbag or a spick or something, I mean, sure, I'm going to be offended, but I'm going to giggle. Like, it's kind of funny. I'm
I
like,
think it's
whoa,
pretty funny. I think it's hilarious.
whoa, Roomba. Who taught you to speak like that? Hey, fuck you, Eze. And it just goes away cleaning. It's like, okay, whatever. Now my neighbors are probably gonna think some awful things of me when when you have a racist Roomba cleaning your apartment. But as long as it's clean, keep the laughs coming, buddy. Just don't watch me in my sexy time with myself because that's awkward. You can go to the living room.
I think I can speak for most men when I say we want to have better sex. And for the sake of our partner, we may need to have better sex, fellas, because no one likes it when you bring a wet noodle to a barbecue party. Write that down. The issue is that over the counter erection pills contain unregulated chemicals, suggest unsafe doses, and include the risk of several other health problems. And who wants that? It's like those drug prescription ads where everybody's like sitting there playing volleyball at the beach, but they're dying of herpes. Not cool. That's why we partnered with our friends over at Joy Mode. Whether you're looking to spice up your intimate moments or increase your confidence in the bedroom, Joy Mode makes all natural and science-backed supplements dedicated to helping men perform better across their core functions. Oh, yeah. The trademark product, this sexual performance booster, is every man's solution for increased blood flow down below, firmness, stamina, and performance of your favorite friend. It's like a pre-workout, but for your buddy down below. And let me tell you, it works. And the best part, the product is totally safe. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. All ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. It comes in a palm-sized little packet, like your favorite electrolyte powder. Just simply mix one of these bad boys right in with 6 to 8 ounces of water, 45 minutes before sexual activity, and watch the magic unfold. Literally. Like, when you start blowing up an inflatable castle? It's sort of like that, but down below.
Redefine your intimacy and go to tryjoymoy.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com.
Ingredients with integrity, it's Joy Mode, baby.
Let me tell you, the day that if my Roomba told me something crazy like good morning and like, oh hi, and they were like, yo, I bit off your mommy's clit and spit that at your daddy while he rode my D train all the way to bitch town, you little faggot. Like, I would be no good. I'd be like, this is fucking amazing.
Bro,
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't even think the Roombas went that far. I think you just gave them some ideas there. Jesus.
I'd be like, go ahead. Like, say what you want, you win.
So you got to give it to these kids. That's pretty smart. I don't know how the fuck you would hack a Roomba. That's insane. So, and then they said it sounded like teenagers. So good for them. That means this is Gen Z all over it, and I got to give it to them. They're smart ass kids. I
They
don't want
are
to fuck with Gen
smart.
Z because they know what they're doing.
But part of me is like, if they can do that, like they can do anything. Like, why not like cure cancer, guys? Like, put your skills to good work, to good use.
Yeah, but it's not as funny. To be
It's not as
fair,
funny,
you
but
know?
like, it's nice to know that
I
like
love
there are
that, but
some
you know,
really intelligent people out there that could use it for good when they're older.
totally,
There could be
yeah.
physicians and physicists
Yeah,
and
well, yeah, that's true, guys. I mean,
astronauts.
I personally lost my dad to cancer, so I get it. But you know, like I said, it's not as funny. So if you guys have time, you can work on the cancer thing. But I could use some laughs right now. You know, I already lost my dad, so the cure's not going to bring him back. So keep the laughs coming.
Fair.
In the meantime. No, but seriously, the cancer thing is good too. You can work on that. If you can hack a Roomba, you at least have some scientific knowledge of something, right? But I don't know. It's different. I don't know. Anyways, keep being funny, Gen Z. Just again, stay away from Carlos's sexy time. You know what? None of us want you don't want to see that. It's not even for my well being. It's more for you.
Yeah.
Especially once I go grocery shopping and buy vegetables. Never mind, I've said too much. Anyways, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for everybody's favorite segment, and that is comedians roasting each other for 60 seconds. Let me get my trusty timer ready. And are you ready, Mr. Mo?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to do this in 3, 2.
So I don't want to know about your
Go on.
vegetables, but I do want to know where that mouse went.
Oh,
I
let's
have a
just
theory.
say it went to the great big hole in the sky.
Okay. The
That's what they
great
say.
big hole. The
That's
gaping
right.
hole.
That's right. In the sky. That's
Yikes.
right. Speaking of questions, I do want to know: are you getting Botox anytime soon? Because it looks like your wrinkles are coming back, like big time. You know, it's like
I actually told myself I would do it for the holidays as a Christmas gift to myself. Good
because when I
question.
introduced you to Julie's friends, they were like, "No way, he doesn't look 40. He looks 50 at least." And I was like, "I get it. Like, I get it. I get it."
Yeah.
You know, you know. By the way,
Well,
I asked AI to make a graphic of us, but I think you need to update your settings or something because it kept making you look like Toucan Sam. So I think they have your old nose on the internet. You know, the little sign.
maybe.
It's a for your nose.
Maybe.
Comedians roasting each other.
I was looking at old pictures
For
of my
60
nose and I
seconds.
was like, yikes. Like, someone should have told me sooner. But I will say
To be
that
fair,
Botox.
no, go on, go on.
Oh, Botox helps with my migraines. You should do it.
I've heard, man. I really have heard. I've been really tempted with it to do it. And I will say, I think you chose at least the right era to get nose surgery because, for example, I remember this was back in Venezuela even. My buddy's mom got a nose job in the 90s, and they gave her that like 90s pointy nose, like those
Oh,
first
yeah.
nose jobs that came out where you could totally tell that it was a nose job. It made it look like a pencil. And it's like that's just how they looked back then. And then all those people ended up having to get nose jobs later on, but all the cartilage was gone already. So I think they would have made you look like Michael Jackson back then. I think that's what
Yeah,
everybody was going for. So,
probably.
uh, waiting till like the later 2000s was definitely a wiser move, where they at least were like, okay, let's make these actually look like noses, like rather than like pencil dicks. So, I can't imagine you with like the '90s nose. That would actually be hilarious. I need to Photoshop that and see what it would look like. But anywho,
I I think that Um, if I had like unlimited money, yeah, there's a lot of things I would do to my face, but it wouldn't be necessarily to change a whole lot. I would just want to enhance things a little bit, just a little something. But I feel like a really good plastic surgeon is able to modify your face without letting people think that you got anything done, like little by little. Do you know what I mean?
totally, totally. I would give myself bigger nipples. Just
Oh, nice.
just some pancakes right there, and then just fucking wake up Julie every morning like, is Mama hungry? You know, and she'd probably be horrified, but eventually, she'd grow to love it because I mean, this is all for her. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
some big, big pancakes, like bigger than gorilla ones. Like I want the National Geographic ladies to be like, "God damn, this is some big nipples, sir."
I've seen
And
some
that's
big
the
nipples in my day. Some big, they look like saucer plates, like a
yeah,
saucer
that's right.
you put like a teacup on.
I want you to be able to see them through a tank top where you're like, what are those? Are you wearing a wire, sir? That's what I want people to wonder about me. Are you smuggling leftovers under there? Is that what are you what's going on, sir? Are you wearing a monkey suit? No, those are just my nipples. Thank you.
Remember they
Impressive.
used to have this show on MTV, it's like MTV True Life, like I'm getting plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy got like it was like breast implants, but in his calves because he was
Yes,
really
the calf guy. Oh my god, you just unlocked a memory that has been long gone from
and then
classic MTV.
he was in Playgirl.
Yep. So
But
good for
like
him.
I would never want to be the guy that was known for having like silicone breasts in his legs.
And his calves. It's like, dude, just do some calf raises.
He was
Like
like,
a
try
lot,
so
or
hard, I'm
jump
so
some rope.
embarrassed.
It's like you clearly like skip leg day at the gym. Like when you have legs that skinny and an upper body that big, you're clearly just not doing leg day like
Yeah.
at all. Like doing anything for your legs.
That's common in America. If you go to like
Yeah.
to South America, everyone prioritizes their legs, but in North America, not so much. Have you noticed that at the gym?
Well, to be fair, in South America, like for example, Brazilians love playing soccer, so you're running around
Mhm.
a lot. It's the sport too, and with soccer, you got to learn to strengthen them legs. Versus up here, it's football. It's a lot of upper body shit. So it's actually kind of funny. But yeah, you're 100% right. Like I knew so many of my friends too that decided to become meatheads, and it was all upper body. And so I also wonder, like, it's funny, like they're easy to like wrestle when they're like that because if you just go for a takedown, a double leg and take their legs are like children's legs, so they just come crashing down like a fucking potato. And it's some funny shit. It is really
Yeah,
some funny shit.
and I I think
Excuse me.
that some people just assume like just because they walk a lot, like in New York, they're like, I walk all the time. I'm always working out my legs. It's different. It's
No,
different.
that's
People are
different.
like, I walk a lot, or I might go on the treadmill sometimes. No, no. If you want to keep your body proportional, you gotta include some weight training.
Hmm.
If you weight train the upper body, you gotta weight train the lower body.
I will say there is one place in New York City that is hell to go out of, and that's when going to Broadway Comedy Club when you take the subway there. I think it's 7th Ave. Getting out, those stairs are so goddamn high that whenever Julie and I would get out there, we'd both be like, fuck. And sometimes the escalator doesn't work. So you can't even take those. And by the time you get out, you're just like, holy shit. So if you do that like a couple of times, that counts as a good leg workout, I
See,
think.
I think about that at Lexington and 63rd Street. It's the F or the Q line.
Oh yeah.
And it's so long. Or if you're down at when you take the 7 down to like Hudson Yards,
Mm-hmm.
when you get off, it's such a long commute. Oh my god.
Totally. It's awful. So yeah. There are the exceptions, but yeah, just walking around doesn't do it. And that gets you like leaner, but you do need to build a little muscle there. Especially fun fact for guys, when you do leg muscle stuff, you actually unleash a little testosterone boost to the body, which you wouldn't otherwise, and it helps you grow your upper body as well.
Hmm.
So it's good for you, and it makes your bones thicker. Which, as you get older, you want to make sure you have thicker bones. So you don't develop osteoporosis or shit like that, or fall over or break your hip like Simo's grandma. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So
That that's a real story. And my grandma, she was out in the yard with the hose, squirting bird poop off of her window, and she
no.
lost her balance and broke her hip, and all downhill from there.
So she went like the Godfather. Ugh. Anyways, it's time to get to it, Mr. Mo. Because this week, we're going to talk about sitcoms, baby. And not just sitcoms, we're going to talk about love and sitcoms. Because we're going to talk about our favorite, the greatest, the goddamn loveliest, the funniest, the most entertaining, the most iconic sitcom couples in history. Right here at the FratChat podcast. And we're going to go back to all your favorite shows. I think even as far back as the 60s or even 50s. I don't know when one of these came out. But anywho, it's going to be good. It's going to be funny. It's going to entertain you. It's going to unlock that nostalgia a little bit. And we'll see how you feel on our top choices at Best Couples. But I think all of these have a place in our heart. So anyways, let's see what we got here. By the way, if you like this list, you can always give us a follow at FratChat Podcast on all social channels or wherever podcast provider you're listening to right now. Go ahead and leave a little review. The episode be like, haha, hilarious. You guys rock. But give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or iTunes or whatever the fuck it is these days. And yeah, help some brothers out, please. But anywho, let's do
I
this.
think you have some honorable mentions.
That's right, because this is tough, you guys. And we always try to keep things to a top 10. But even while making this list, I was like, holy shit, I don't know that I can not include these couples, But these are the ones that almost cracked the top 10. And just, it's a tough list. It's a tough list. So, no offense to these couples. We love you. It's just, again, very tough list. Anyways, first honorable mention is Hal and Lois from Malcolm in the Middle, played by what's his face? God, Bryan Cranston, and I'm forgetting her name, Jane something. Malcolm in the Middle cast. I'll tell you right now.
Is it
Yep,
Lois or is it
Jane.
Lewis?
It's Lois.
Because you spelled Lewis. I was like, who's this gay couple I wasn't familiar with?
Jane Kaczmarek is her name. And I fucking love Malcolm in the Middle. That show still holds up if you've never watched it. That's how Bryan Cranston got famous. And he is hilarious in it. But they're just such a good couple on the show because Hal totally wears the pants in the relationship because Lois picks them out. And it's that whole dynamic of he's like kind of like the wacky fun dad, and he's very silly. But meanwhile, Lois is like the badass mom who they're all scared of. She keeps the family like going, and they're very low middle class. They have 3 kids. This show came out actually right around the time of when the recession hit. So they're not the most well off family, and they make do what they have. But they are so fucking funny together, and the combo of them. Like for example, Lois will be the authoritarian, but Hal will rent a goddamn giant truck to run things over with, like a goddamn child. So their balance with each other is so good, where you can see how they made these like demon children. Actually, they have 4 kids, I believe, and maybe even 5 at the end. Let's see. Malcolm, Dewey, Reese, the older one, Francis, and then they end up with the fifth kid. They end up with the baby later on in the show. So, yeah, obviously resources are tight, and it's funny because they, not to spoil the show, but it's already like fucking 30 years old. But it shows the progression of how well off they were when they first got married versus, when they first had one kid, and then they have the second kid, and now they're a little more broke. And then the third kid, the fourth kid, their house is trash now, And then when the fifth kid, by then you're already very well off into the show. But they're so good. Anyways,
is it me or does buying a sex pill at a gas station feel super awkward? You're like walking around and you don't know what to get. The guy's definitely looking at you, judging you with every step. It's super weird. Plus, then we're going to talk efficacy. Does it really work? Because my buddy once bought a condom from a gas station, and now he has 3 kids, so you tell me. So it's good to know that Joymoid is not only backed by its users, it's backed by science, people, which goes to show that science can be sexy sometimes. Oh, yeah. Now, let me ask you something. Whether you're happy or unhappy with your performance in the bedroom, why not perform even better? Usain Bolt was the fastest man in the world, and he still wanted to run faster. So why not be an Olympic gold medalist in the bedroom, fellas? Because that's where Joy Mode comes in. Joy Mode's sexual performance booster is like a pre-workout, but for sex. It's designed to support erection quality, firmness, and sex drives. And it contains clinically supported doses of ingredients like arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C, which is going to make your boy down below stronger than ever. Oh, yeah. Plus, not only is this the only supplement you'll need in the bedroom, it also supports blood vessel support, cardiovascular and heart health, athletic performance, blood pressure, and general erection function. Plus, here are the game changers. All ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals, and all ingredients have been studied and researched in humans, so you know it works. And I don't know about you guys, but I'll never go back to over-the-counter drugs after trying Joy Mode. And psst, it's small enough to fit in your wallet and take it with you on the go. It's the perfect travel companion, and it's a powder, so you don't need to worry about it getting crushed in there. So all you gotta do, fellas, is just go to tryjoymode.com for 20% off with promo code FratChat. That's 20% off and free shipping with promo code FratChat at tryjoymode.com. Great sex solved naturally. Oh, yeah.
Number 12, I guess, would be the next honorable mention. Would be Michael and Jay for My Wife and Kids, who I brought up in a previous episode. I forgot what we were talking about.
What about TV dads?
Yeah, favorite TV dads. And they are a great couple because they balance each other out so good as well. But the thing is, they're both, even though the mom would like to say, and this is Jay, would like to say that she's like the mature one of the two, she eggs on his funny behavior in the show so much that they're very much like a team, and they're very young at heart, and they had young kids on the show as well, so it kind of really plays into it. But they'll like prank the kids and shit. They make fun of each other all the goddamn time. She laughs at his jokes, so it lets him off the hook when he's funny. They're just a great ass couple, and it makes me kind of, in a weird way, it reminds me of me and Julie in certain ways. So whenever I watch that show, I feel extra lovey with this couple. So they almost made the list, but man, again, it's a tough list to get into.
Yeah.
And last but not least, in the honorable mention, gotta go to Scrubs, and this one was so hard for me to leave out because I love this show. So note that this is like a 0.1 maybe. Like it was originally on my side of the list, and then I took it down when Simo actually brought up one that I totally missed, and I'll get to it shortly. But it's Carla and Turk from Scrubs, and they're just so funny. She, I Bleav, is Cuban. He's a black guy. They make beautiful mixed babies. They're both hilarious. He is extra nerdy and dorky. She is more like cool funny. And again, it's that balance that I love in couples. And she's his rock, which I love to see. And even though on the show she plays tough, she needs him just as much as he needs her. So it's a beautiful relationship to watch, not to get all sentimental, but they're also fucking hilarious. So Carla and Turk and Scrubs, I love you guys. And yeah, that was my honorable mention list. Brought to
All
you.
right. Well, for my
Chat
first
Podcast.
one on the top 10, I'm going to go with, do you remember the show called Girls on HBO?
Do I ever? AKA Lena Dunham's naked.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I have to say, I appreciate what she did to just celebrate the human body. I mean, like, I think she did a lot of good for just body image in general. You know what I mean? She was like, this is me. I'm owning it. Like, you don't have to be a size 0 to like showcase your knockers on TV. Like, I deserve love too, you
Yeah,
know.
but to be
So
fair, even though obviously I love boobs on TV, I feel like there is a lot of unnecessary boobage. So I just think I think she just added to the millions and millions of unnecessary boobage scenes already. Like that's see, I could have gone with less boobs on certain things because it's like sometimes you're watching something, it's a good movie, and you're like watching with your mom, and all of a sudden they take their top off, and it's like, God damn it! Like this is the wrong time for this. What the
yeah,
fuck are
no,
you
I've been there.
thinking? You know.
Well, I
So you know.
her relationship with her character's name was Hannah, and her relationship with this guy named Adam, who's played by Adam Driver, so is his real name in the show.
Yeah.
Um, they had just so much chemistry, and I just loved watching their storyline. It really catapulted his career too. I mean, he's a superstar now
Yeah,
because of the
that
show.
yeah,
And
he's
she
everywhere. Star Wars, fucking love films, like he's everywhere, everywhere, everywhere.
Yeah, he's so talented, and, I think she's, like, a multi-award winning writer and actress in the show too,
Mhm.
right? So, 'cause I think she, like, tore up the Golden Globes, one year. But anyway, I just think that this is a great representation of a complicated relationship in
Yeah,
one's 20s. Like,
agreed,
and the show had a lot of
agreed.
sex, and I think to myself, like, when I was in my 20s, I had a lot of sex. We all did, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's very true. That's very
so I
true.
I think this is a
Um,
fair representation. The only if I could give this any criticism, it's set in New York, and the cast was very white, and I feel like it lacked a little diversity,
yeah,
especially being set in New York. Now, here's the thing: if you are going to set your show in, let's say, I don't know, like bumfuck Southern Maryland, maybe your cast is all white because there's a lot of diversity down there. Like I think some of my cousins that live in Southern Maryland and maybe never met someone of another race. But
totally.
I think that if you're gonna set a show in New York, there should be some diversity. And that's the only criticism I have. Otherwise, I love the show and I love the relationship between Lena and Adam. It was complicated, and I was always rooting for them. And yeah, I think
That's
that
a good one.
when I think of that show, I think of the two of them.
Totally, totally, absolutely. Whenever anybody mentions that show, I think of those too. And you're right. It is the quintessential complicated relationship in your 20s of are you not? You kind of love this person, when it starts out, you're just kind of fucking, but what is this? Are you together? Are you broken up? It's perfect. And there's a lot of pain and love searching in your 20s too,
Oh
which a
yeah.
lot of people don't talk about. But in a weird way, I always liked how Friends did it because there was a lot of breakups on that show. But that is true. It's like your 20s are filled with a lot of shit. They did that obviously in Friends in a comedic way, but here it was gritty and darker, and you really felt it. So I feel like that is a very different show from the way you see love portrayed in a lot of different places. So I love honestly it was I was like, I didn't watch every single episode of that show, but the ones I did, I very much liked. So, not shocked it catapulted everyone's career. But, anyways, on to the next one. And on my side of the lips, The lips, the list.
Uh-huh.
I got lost in Simo's eyes. I'm gonna go to a classic show that I know I shouted this out, but Simo's writing teacher over here used to write for,
Mhm.
and it's Married with Children. And of course, I got to start with Al and Peg Bundy. And note that I was very close between Al and Peg Bundy as I was to Hal and Lois and Malcolm in the Middle, because it's in some ways there's similarities in the couple in the sense that they're like high school sweethearts who ended up together having way too many kids, and then now their life is shit. They didn't get the education they possibly should have because of raising their kids, and so they're in very similar scenarios. But when I think of like my life laughing into a TV, I can't not feature Al and Peg Bundy on that list. And the difference being that while Malcolm in the Middle, Hal idolizes Lois and loves her, and it always like says, even though like their life is shit, Lois is his fucking queen, and he loves her. And Married with Children, Al and Peg Bundy just roast each other all goddamn day, and it's so fucking funny. It's like, Al, let's have sex. No, Peg. And it's so silly. It's like, I don't know. They just always roast each other. She'll make fun of his small dick or something, and he'll call her a sloth and whatever. It's great shit. So they're back and forth, and their chemistry, their comedic chemistry, is so goddamn good that it's fucking legendary. Anybody who watched 90s TV will tell you that this show is one of the best ones there is. And I Bleav it's because of this couple. The rest of the cast was also fantastic, don't get me wrong, so I'm sure it helps. But these two were just so good. And at the end of the day, they're perfect for each other because the Bundys are all very much the same. And they cheat and they steal and they don't give a fuck. And they know who they are. And if someone fucks with one of them, they fuck with the rest. And it's hilarious.
Yeah, I think that as like dysfunctional as they were, like there's definitely a lot of love in that house, and I think that um it was funny because as dysfunctional as they were, whenever compared to their neighbor's relationship, you remember
Totally.
Marcy? Like they were obviously the more loving couple,
Totally.
and so
Totally.
I just I don't know, I like the show a lot. I'm a
And they
big
weren't
fan.
trying to be anything that they weren't, which is what I loved. Meanwhile, Marcy, like you said, the neighbors were trying to paint the picture that they were the perfect couple, but in reality, it was just her bossing him around to make it seem like they were the perfect couple. So, but anyways, what you got next?
Well, next I'm gonna bring you back in the day to Full House with
Oh yeah,
um obviously everyone, there's a lot of stars came from that show. Olsen twins are billionaires. I mean, um I don't like Candace Cameron Bure, but she's got a successful career.
yeah, she's
You
still
know,
working.
um Uncle Jesse played by oh, what's his name? Um
John Stamos.
John
Come on,
Stamos.
man. Come on,
He
Simo. Come on,
John
Simo.
Stamos is a legend. He's a heartthrob forever. He looks amazing. But anyway, when I think of love in a Full House, I think of the courtship of Uncle Jesse and Aunt Becky. And when we
Yeah,
first met Becky, she wasn't Aunt Becky yet. She was just Becky.
she was just Becky.
She was Bob Saget's co-star on Wake Up San Francisco,
That's right.
his co-host. And so
That's right.
we watched Uncle Jesse and Becky date, and then they got married, and then they renovated the attic at Bob Saget's house, and then they had kids of their own. And
And they
so
had the
we
other
got the
twins, right?
that set of twins, and I think towards the end she got pregnant again. So I think
Mhm.
we saw the relationship from the very beginning, and we watched it grow, and we saw some hardships. I think he was traveling with his band for a little bit, and that posed some stress on their relationship. But all in all, um it was just nice to see the relationship blossom from nothing into something really
Totally.
special.
And
It's so
they
wholesome.
They had great chemistry too, I have to say.
They did. And they're
And
both beautiful.
they're both beautiful people. So those babies would have been fucking excellence. Yeah, I have to say they were like the ideal couple for me watching them in the 90s because he was like, trying to be a cool rock star with his band. She was on TV herself. So it's just like, oh man, they have both facets of careers that I wish I could be. So I was a little jealous of them, not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm with you. That's a great, great couple. Uncle Jesse, have mercy.
Have
And Aunt
mercy.
Becky. Anyhow,
Capiche?
capiche? Anyways, up to the next one, which is one that I almost forgot about, and I would have kicked myself in the booty if I had. So thank you to my co-host here, Simo, for slapping some sense into me.
I do
And
what I can.
you'll be hearing from my lawyers as well, because I heard. I'm talking about Boy Meets World, baby, Corey and Topanga. This list would have been broken without including them in here. They were literally a couple. And no, if you're a true Boy Meets World fan, you'll notice that their relationship the beginning of the relationship is kind of fudged around a little bit as the show changes. Like, for example, uh, like things change. Like Sean had a sister in like the early seasons, but then she didn't. He had another brother but then he didn't. He didn't really become like a trailer park kid to like season 2 or 3. Before you thought that he just was like a normal kid like Corey, like that lived in like middle class kid. And same thing here with Topanga. At first, they like meet, they don't become a thing till like the 4th or 5th grade or whatever. But then later on in the show, the writing changes that they actually met in the sandbox and they had been in love since they were like 3. But regardless, this is one that growing up with this show, they were just the iconic couple for a kid. You know what I mean? Like they were the ones that made you believe that a high school relationship or even like a middle school relationship could work. And the thing was that if you watch the show back, the way they act is very adult, and the whole cast actually. And it's a show that even though it's tailored for kids, it's written for the whole family and it's written to be
Hmm.
very funny and it's a very hilarious show. And Ben Savage, who plays Corey Matthews, is a very funny actor. And the two of them were great. Even though Topanga was first introduced as like the weird girl, eventually puberty hit and, they all became like beautiful. Uh, and so then she started playing more like the hot teenager to Corey's like nerdy guy. So the balance of them was excellent. And it's all honestly, you'll see that come up in a common theme for me. For me, it's, a lot of the who made this list is there. I love a good balance in a relationship. I think it's very accurate, and I think that's how things are in successful relationships. So I think that carries on to TV relationships. You see these characters that you wonder how the fuck are they together, but when you put them together, they like balance each other out so well. And I think Corey and Topanga is one of these. And they're, like for example, Julie and I are watching the show now again on Disney Plus, and we just got to the episode where Corey meets some girl in like a ski lift because he hurts his foot, and it's actually Linda Carlini plays the girl, and they end up kissing. And he tells Topanga and whatnot, and we're in the episode where they're about to break up over it. And we don't even want to watch it. We've been stopping the show for weeks now because we just don't want to watch them break up because we love them so much as a couple. And we know they end up together again, but it's like, I don't want to see that right now. I don't want and we could just skip the fucking episode, but then we'll miss it. It's like, no, we'll wait till we're ready to watch them break up. But we love Corey and Topanga, so they had to make the list.
Corey, Ben Savage, his older brother, was in a show called The Wonder Years, and his character and Winnie, was that her name? What it was
Fred
was such a
Savage.
cute couple. But Anyway, that was a great show. I like Mr.
Fred
Feeney across
shoots
the
in Boy
street.
Meets World too.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah. Oh, Mr.
Mr.
Feeney. Yeah.
Feeney.
Feeney! Feeney! The Feeney call is legendary.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
next up for me, I have do you ever watch the show Schitt's Creek?
Did I ever? I love that show.
I love that show.
Show's so good.
And David was such an interesting character for me, David, because uh he was one of the few openly bisexual characters that you've seen on television. There's not a lot of bisexuality, especially
Mhm.
amongst men. And in the gay community, we're kind of mean because we're like, "Ah, bi now, gay later." You know what I mean? Like, bisexuality is just a stepping stone, as you ease into like homosexual life. And I think that a lot of people look at a guy and they're like, if you suck a dick once, maybe I'll give you leeway. But if you suck a dick twice, like you're definitely a homo. There's no bisexuality. I think
If
people think that.
if you suck a dick once, you went to a Diddy party. If you suck a dick twice and you went back, that's on you.
Yeah. So I think that I was just excited to see the exploration of a bisexual male on TV. And then
Yeah.
this bisexual guy meets, I guess, a closeted man and they fell in love. And I've never seen this kind of dynamic on TV. And it was a beautiful relationship between the two of them. Like um, with Patrick singing or
Mhm.
David lip singing and dancing for each other, and they had a business together. It was just very cute. And so I thought it was
And
very wholesome and necessary for the public to see.
they end up getting married, correct? I think that's
Yeah.
all. I don't want to spoil it, but that's another one
Spoiler
that came out
alert, they live happily ever
10
after,
years ago.
guys.
But it takes a lot together, and that's a hilarious show all around. The casting in that is fantastic. Um, it really is a masterclass on great acting choices all
Mhm.
around for everybody. Like Moira, she fucking
Catherine
like
O'Hara.
wrote into her Catherine O'Hara. Yep, she wrote into her contract. The thing about the wigs, that's her choice. That was not someone didn't write that for her. She said, "I want my character to have like interchangeable wigs, and I want to be in charge of her crazy wardrobes." And like she pitched that, and she's like, "I'm not doing it unless you give me that in the budget." And they were like, "Okay." And like she made that character that, you know what I mean? Like that character could just been like an OMG, like a very single layered, like old rich lady. But no, she took it to that extra and made her ridiculous, but also totally believable because everybody knows women like that. And I'm sure she's based on someone she knew. But yeah, that show is so fucking good. The Levies really knocked it out of the park there.
I loved all of them. And
Yep.
they've got lots of awards too.
Yeah, they rocked it. I mean, really, it's like it's that class is a master class in acting choices all around. Like you see that entire cast, the way they fucking brought it all together. And it goes to show that it really does take a village to make a show successful because it's a show where I can't imagine it without any of those particular pieces into it. You know, like they all really make the show what it is, and they're all fantastic in it, which is like rare to see. There's always a weak link in a cast, and fuck, there's very rare to find a show where there's no weak links. Like I think like Friends is good for that. This show is another case.
I want to
Boy
show
Meets
you
World's great
something.
casting.
I'm taking you on a tour of my apartment, and in my bathroom, behind the toilet, I have
What the hell is that?
Schitt's Creek.
Oh shit! There you go. It was blurry. Ah, yeah,
Over
that's
my toilet.
hilarious. Yeah, the town sign.
So when you're on the shitter, you're underneath Schitt's Creek signage.
That's so good, dude.
And then the
That's
other wall, it's
fantastic.
a picture of Harry from Dumb and Dumber on the toilet.
Oh, that's good. That one I have seen from your old bathroom, I think. But the Schitt's Creek and that town sign is so funny. It's another the guy who plays the mayor. He was in Something About Mary. I love that fucking
Oh
actor.
yeah.
That guy's so funny. So yeah, great choice by putting Schitt's Creek and bringing it to the buys. Oh yeah. Up next, I'll take you back to one of the most iconic sitcom couples ever. This is one that it led to such catchphrases as "We were on a break" and "Unagi," and it's Ross and Rachel for Friends, played by David Schwimmer and my lifetime crush Jennifer Aniston, who even at the age of 50 something is just mwah. But
She's so beautiful.
yeah, seriously. And you can tell she's gotten a little work done, but like just enough to keep her like, yeah, and not like the exaggerated amount of it. Um, but they were like the constant are they or aren't they type thing. They would be together and they would break up. And it was in a weird way. I'm gonna relate it to pro wrestling, which is they say the most successful wrestling storylines are the ones where the good guy is not the champion, but he's chasing for the belt from the bad guy. And it seemed like the Ross and Rachel recipe was the chase was made for better TV necessarily than once they were together. And once they were together, something would always break them up where it led back to Ross trying to get her back. And they were so goddamn romantic. And it was the kind of thing where even though they tried different little storylines where they ended up with different people, which is honestly very accurate because some I do know a lot of couples that they break up, they date a bunch of other people, and then they end up back together later on. Sometimes you gotta let a bird fly away for it to fly back to you. Uh, this is the kind of show where they needed to end together. They did. They try to put her with Joey. It was that was the kind of like the season where it made you realize it's still
What an
funny. Don't get me wrong.
incestuous group. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
right. But that's kind of how I know a lot of friends groups that are formed that way because people are hooked up with everybody in them. And I myself, I'm kind of guilty of that with certain friends groups myself. So um, once they announced that it was the final season, I feel like the writers were like, okay, we got to put them back together, and the show needs to end with these two at least having a chance. And that final scene when you think she left and he's all heartbroken and he's listening to the fucking voice message and it's like and it cuts off and it's like did you board the plane, did you stay, what happened, and then you hear her behind him, I stayed. The crowd, man, that was like the biggest pop I've heard, and real like sitcom crowd audience history for some time, man. Like it was legendary. Everybody was happy. People were crying and shit. It was legendary. So Ross and Rachel, they had to make it on the list, and they would have made it even higher. But you'll see my last two are pretty fucking iconic. So you gotta bear with me here.
well, my last two are iconic too because a huge show for young people back in the day was Vampire Diaries, and then they had a spinoff called The Originals, and then a spinoff called what was the last one?
Ooh,
There
I
was
don't know.
another one with the girl Hope. Um, I gotta look it up. Vampire Diaries
Here, I'll find this
spinoff.
fast. The originals,
Legacies.
legacies. Okay.
Yeah. Um, every show had like an amazing cast. I mean, everyone's so beautiful. And
Uh-huh.
uh we started off with Elena and Stefan, who are both like total heartthrobs. And then they kind of went through it, and then Stefan's brother Damon snuck in, and they had a beautiful love affair. And
Mm.
Damon, I think, is one of the most beautiful men that have ever graced television with his beautiful blue eyes. Oh my gosh. I've definitely
Now,
beaten off a few times for those episodes, that's for sure.
now, do you think the vampires chose these people based on hotness, and that's how they choose who to bite, or when you become a vampire, you automatically become hot, and now you're just ripped. Or do those vampires have like Planet Fitness 24/7 memberships, and they're in there at like 3 in the morning, pumping iron to look like that?
I don't know, but I do know that the chemistry with these characters were all because um Elena's character was like a mythological creature almost. She was like a doppelganger. And when you have these like doppelgangers, they're just drawn to each other. And so like their romance centuries ago like is rekindled when they come across each other, generations later
Right.
and as new people. They just have their past lives have been intertwined. Does that make sense?
Totally. So in that case, they were like,
Meant to
okay, we
be.
gotta we gotta pick the right people to be reincarnated, but no, not that guy. I don't like his hips. Yeah, not that girl. Her boobs are too small.
But though, this show has such a following and is so I mean the fandom was just insane.
Oh yeah,
And Elena left the show like for the last two seasons. They kind of killed her off. They kind of put her to sleep for a little bit. And so they like wrote her off and I still mentioned her and like, um it is I think that she was expecting to get a lot of, hit movie roles, and it didn't work for her.
ooh,
But the show still survived, and I remember thinking to myself, like, "How's this gonna work without her?" But it worked. It worked just fine.
totally. Well, that's where I mean, I will say that's on her manager, maybe her agent, where you
Mhm.
got to have a new job before you leave the old job. You got to make sure you got those offers in hand before you quit the show. Then you at least got money in the bank. Shorty, what you think? Um, but yeah, that's a bad move. Like, for example, Jennifer Aniston went on to make a fuck ton. A lot of the Friends characters did. They're
Mhm.
all like all over different movies and shit. But they didn't leave the show. They got themselves together and they negotiated. Oh, let's make $1 million per fucking episode, bitches. Which in the year 2000, I mean, it's a lot of money now, but in 2000 is an absurd amount of money.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, they were smart business people. I have to say, they figured out their worth. So I'm shocked that this lady would leave the show without having those offers at hand. So whoever talked her into that, bad advice, man. Yeah, especially
Mhm.
because that show
Mhm.
made money. Like you don't want to walk away from that paycheck unless you know you got something bigger ready.
Yeah.
Uh-uh. Fuck that. But anyways, I'm next on the list. I'm gonna take you guys back to the 50s, and I think this might have been like one of the first interracial couples on sitcom
Yeah.
history, which I've never thought about it. But yeah, it's hey Lucy, I'm home. I'm talking about Lucy and Ricky. I love Lucy. And it
I
was
love Lucy and she loves me. Remember that the song at the beginning?
yeah, buddy,
So
hit it
catchy.
so good. And of course, they were played by Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. Actually, no, yeah, no, that's who played it. And they were Lucy
Yeah.
Ricardo and Ricky Ricardo. And they were a real life couple as well. And actually, there is a movie, I think. It's either a movie or a show, but it's on Amazon Prime where I think Nicole Kidman plays Lucy
Yes.
and Javier Bardem plays Ricky Ricardo. And I've been meaning to check that out, but it looks pretty good. But if you want to kind of see a little bit of their past, there is modern ways to do it. But the show lasted for 6 seasons, and I swear it felt like it was around much longer than that. Even though for the 50s, that is very successful. And they were the thing about these two is again they have that balance that I love as a couple, but they were both so good together. He was so good at elevating her wackiness. And if you watch Lucy in the show, she is super wacky. She has
Mhm.
a lot of physical comedy in the show. She does a lot of faces and big, big faces and reactions and shit. And a lot of it is just how she'll react to a scene. But like, there's one where like she's like making like a cake or something, and she's in a rush, and then when she opens the oven, it's like this massive cake comes out, and it's the bit that if any other actor, it probably would have looked too silly to be funny. But the way that she like exaggerates all her body movements make it fucking hilarious. And this was in an era where there's no CGI. The special effects are like an animal on a string. You know what I mean? It's fucking not good.
It's black
So
and white.
it's all black and white, exactly. So it really comes on her and him to bring out the funny just by their comedic timing, movements, everything. This is not editing to make it funny. This is just these people were fantastic together. And at the end of the day, even though they were such a wacky couple, there was love there, and they were very sweet and tender when it all came time to be. Thus the name of the show. But it's
Until
a
they
show
got
that's worth a watch.
divorced.
Yes.
But no, they still remain good friends, and even like at the end of days, like they still had a wonderful rapport with each other, and they had kids together, and
Totally.
sometimes their kids were actually on the show. And then Lucille Ball had a show called the Lucille Ball Show later on,
Yeah. Yep.
but her
Yep.
voice changed a lot because she was a big smoker. I mean, they were smoking cigarettes left and right throughout that show.
Yeah, they
Remember?
were. And I mean, that was the 50s. They were like saying that cigarettes were good for you back then. And I'm not even making that up. You can look it up. There are commercials on TV talking about the benefits of smoking. But you're right. Her voice definitely, because it was kind of high pitch. And I was like, hello, guys.
Yeah, she was back in the day, like MGM had these like huge musicals, and she was like a background like dancer, and like she had a career before the show, being just a pretty girl in the sea of beautiful women, and this show I think was ranking top the charts, which was like unheard of for the fact that they, like you said, interracial relationship, but the fact that she was just a woman, you know what I mean? And she broke a lot of barriers for women. I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go on a tangent for a moment and just say I'm gonna connect this in a moment. But you know how like Florida's really going through it with like all the hurricanes and whatnot. I think to myself
Mm-hmm.
like you guys should spend less time focusing on drag queens reading to kids and like more time on protecting your homes. You know what I mean? Like, I know that this like don't say gay legislation, you're trying to get that, up and running, but that's irrelevant compared to like natural disasters that occur. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And I think to myself, like, people are so weirded out by like the idea of someone dressed up in a costume reading to kids. And I'm like, do you guys not remember like Mrs. Doubtfire, how important that was? You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you people? But I think about um I Love Lucy because there was a moment where she dressed up like a man. It was Harpo Marx, and they did a scene together. And I just feel like a lot of there was a lot of television that was phenomenal, and people were dressed up like the opposite sex, in drag essentially,
All the
and
time.
and it wasn't a big deal then. Like even like Steve Urkel would dress up like Myrtle Urkel. You know what I
All the
mean?
time. And I will
And
say he says he hates it that he had to do that now,
yeah,
but in hindsight, but it's more because the weird agents with kids relationships from back then. But yeah, the point stands. It was everywhere, and I mean, look at fucking Bugs Bunny, dude. The half of his
yeah,
gags were dressed like a woman and fucking making out with a man. And then Elmer Fudd was like, "Whoa, whoa! I made up with a male bunny. Whoa! I gotta shoot that bunny.
yeah.
I'm gay." So yeah, it was. I don't know. People. It became easy to. I feel like demonize them for whatever reason because people don't understand them, and that's they were running out of things. I think, but eventually it'll be my people again. They're always bringing back the Latinos, so don't worry. Don't worry, drag queens. Your time will be up soon.
That's right. Well, top of my list is a couple that I watched growing up, and the show, like, I wish that my high school was like what was the high school called? It was Bayside High School.
Yeah, Bayside
Uh,
High.
This is Saved by the Bell, and I'm referring to the love affair between Zach and Kelly.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Screech and Lisa.
Ugh, no way. Screech was such a weirdo. Rest in peace, but Dustin Diamond, you were weird.
Look like you in high school.
A little bit. I think when I wore a hat, or I would to like flatten my hair, or I would straighten it,
Yes,
or
the curly hair.
just so that they wouldn't see the curly hair, because I did look like Screech. Skinny with a big nose and like
Yeah.
very like chiseled features in all the worst ways.
And into comedy, so perfect. Really fantastic. Oh yeah, but there Zach and Kelly were fucking iconic. I grew up watching that show. Even in Venezuela, that show was a major hit. And it was, who you aspired to be. And no, that's another example of the chase being just as good as the catch. Like in Friends, where Zach and Kelly weren't always together, especially in the beginning. Sometimes Slater would try to pick her up and shit,
Yeah.
but you always rooted for Zach. Just the way that you always wanted him and her to end up together. And Zach would fuck up a lot of the times and do his crazy schemes, would end up backfiring, but you still ended up rooting for them to be together. And if you're a '90s kid, that was the couple. That was it for us. I
You know
love that
what?
show.
A lot of people talk about a lot of celebrities that like just don't age and whatnot, but like no one, I feel like Mario Lopez doesn't get enough credit for looking the same now that he did back then. Like he is such a beautiful guy
And
and
he
such
doesn't
really
use
good care of himself.
Botox. I swear to God, actually him and John Stamos made a video together, and it was the caption someone else, but it was those lip sync videos on TikTok where you're like acting out a scene from like a reality show,
Yeah.
and it's John Stamos being talking over some lady voice, being like, "You don't use Botox? Like go like this and like move your eyebrows up, because then you can see like the the little wrinkles that form here." And Mario Lopez does it, and his little wrinkles show up. I was like, "Huh." It looks like boy is mostly natural, and if you look at a lot of the cast members on the show, a lot of them age pretty well. Mark Paul Gosselaar, which plays Zach Morris, aged pretty well. Kelly aged pretty well too. She's still Tiffany Thiessen. She's still a fucking babe.
Yeah.
Jessie,
It used
I
to be
forget her
Tiffany
name.
Amber Thiessen, remember?
That's right. I forget Jessie, the actress who plays Jessie, but she was in that stripper movie, and I was like,
Elizabeth Berkley.
yes, Elizabeth Berkley.
And she was in Showgirls.
Showgirls. Screech obviously was, meant to be the ugly one on the show. No offense, Screech, R.I.P. But he didn't have the biggest glow up. I wasn't expecting to. And then Lisa, I forget the actress name too. She unfortunately had some plastic surgery mishaps, but she was beautiful. But the main three really
Lisa
aged well.
Turtle.
Or the main four: Zach, Slater, Kelly, and Jesse. Yeah, those four aged really well. So I got to give it to them. Like when the show came back, for example, a lot of them had cameos in them, and it's mostly the ones that age. you know. But
Um,
anywho,
Lisa Turtle, I think she was mentally ill.
ooh, yeah. I remember we spoke about her a couple seasons ago, but I honestly don't know uh what it was. It's been so long. But
You know,
yeah, if you
Saved by the
Google her,
Bell,
she doesn't look
um,
the same.
the first couple years, I think it was called something else, and then it like morphed into Saved by the Bell. But like um uh I
Yeah, it was
don't
about the
think
teacher. It was original show was about a teacher that they had, and Zach and a couple of the cast members were in it. But then the show, I think she left for whatever reason, but then the show morphed into Saved by the Bell. But you are right.
yeah. And because I think Zach, Screech, and Lisa Turtle were like the main cast members.
Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Yeah.
And you're right. It has Zach, it has Screech, and Lisa, and it has a guy in it that was also in the original Saved by the Bell. But then he ended up getting cut. But yep.
There were a lot of actors, like, even, there was a nerdy girl, that was, Aaron Spelling's daughter, Tori Spelling. That was, like, her first big role before she went on to Beverly Hills
Oh,
90210. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, actors that came up through Saved by the Bell. It was a big show back in the day.
it was. It was. And I mean, it was so big that they even made it the college show. They made movies and they made the spinoff with Screech and Mr. Belden working at the school. It was, there was a franchise that they try to keep going. But I think with the original cast members, I was all in. I even loved the college ones. But once he brought in the different high school kids, I was like, I don't give a shit. It's kind of like when you graduate high school and you go back. It's like, I don't give a shit. you know?
Yeah. Um, who was, who's the girl from King of Queens? Remini? Is it
Yeah,
Lisa?
Leah Remini.
Leah Remini. She started off in Saved by the Bell too, when they were at the beach,
Oh, you're right,
the beach club.
dude. Yep. Yeah, she was. I mean, she's still an attractive woman. Don't get me wrong, at 54, but she was a babe in the 90s, 2000s. Like, good lord, lady.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's it for mine. What's your top one? I have a feeling
My
I can
top one.
guess.
It's just, I had to do it. I had to do it. And here's the thing, if longevity means anything to relationships, which I think it does, this is the longest lasting TV couple in sitcom history, as
And they
far as
don't
I know.
age.
And that's right. They never age and they never will. As long as those voice actors still alive, we got a chance. And it's Homer and Marge Simpson, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Had to do it. Of course, if you don't know who they are, you live under a rock. They're from The Simpsons. And here's the thing, that balance, baby. That balance is there. Homer is known as being like the lovable dope of the show, but Marge is the one that she's kind of like the straight person to his dope, and her reactions ground him a lot, which is fantastic. And their story is actually really beautiful. If you watch it, it involves a lot of struggles, financial pain, hard work, perseverance. Their first kid, they're totally not ready for. They don't have money. Homer's like looking for jobs. They almost even have to break up because he feels like he can't help support them, and he almost walks away from the relationship. But then he proposes in the most adorable way, and it's a relationship that you watch it, and it's a show where even though it's a comedy, it's a cartoon. There are a lot of heavy episodes with their relationships where you feel like they're about to break up, and you get very sad for them, but then they always end up finding a way back together. And I swear to God, if you watch this show front to back, even the first 10 seasons, and you watch the movie, you will agree with me that their relationship is so goddamn romantic. Like in the movie, there's a fire at the Simpsons home, and Marge Simpson goes back for what? For their wedding video. And it's so fucking sweet and adorable. And their couple song is "Why Do Birds Suddenly Appear?" Here, like I even know their song.
Karen
Which how
Carpenter.
many? That's right. And how many TV sitcom couples have an actual song? It just goes to show that this is the one. This is the main one, and they're made to last, baby. So I got to give it to Homer and Marge. Uh,
And
I have
Marge is a
cried
babe.
more for that show. Yeah, she
Marge
is
is a total
the
babe,
cartoon
and you
babe.
know it's true love when she's able to keep it going, keep the fire burning for a big fat bald guy, because he let himself go.
That's right. That's right. And
She
if
wouldn't
you
have it
haven't
any other
seen
way.
That's right. And if you haven't seen the earlier episodes where they get together, they do show their story. But check it out. It's worth a watch. All their seasons are on Disney Plus, so you can binge watch The Simpsons whenever you want. A lot of these shows, actually, you can binge watch. Let's see. Friends, I think, is on Max. I think I Love Lucy is on Prime. Boy Meets World is on Disney Plus as well. Married with Children was on Peacock because I was watching it there. It might still be there. If not, it's definitely on Hulu. Saved by the Bell, I think Hulu. Bunch jumps around, but I was watching it on Netflix, and I think it's on Hulu now. Vampire Diaries was HBO, so it'll be on Max. Schitt's Creek is Netflix. Full House, I don't know, because Fuller House was on Netflix, so I don't know where it's landed now, but I'm sure it's on one of those. And Girls is on HBO, so it will be on Max. Of course, and the honorable mentions, Scrubs, I know is on Hulu. My Wife and Kids is on Netflix, and Malcolm in the Middle is on Hulu. So literally everything on this list you can binge watch yourself. And trust me, all these shows hold up really well, and you'll see why these couples made the list. Oh yeah. But anywho, Mr. Mo, that was our list on the most iconic, the greatest, the best sitcom TV couples brought to you by the Frat Chat Podcast. And don't forget that if you want to get sexy times with your own very couple, you can check out Joy Mode. Oh, yeah. Go to tryjoymode.com/FratChat and use promo code FratChat for 20% off plus free shipping. Take one of these little packets with you on the go, baby. Get ready to make your sexy time epic, take it to the next level. And the best thing, it's all natural, baby. You don't have to worry about what's in this because it's all tested and it's all natural. So again, tryjoymood.com/FratChat. Use promo code FratChat. Get 20% off and free shipping. And give us a follow on all social channels at FratChat Podcast. That's on Instagram. That's on Facebook. That's on Threads. That's on YouTube. That's on Twitter/X. You can give me a follow. Check out my website, carlosgarciacomedy.com, or you can give me a follow on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, excuse me, TikTok, YouTube at Carlos Does the World, and on Twitter/X at Carlos Does World. And you get my buddy Seema over here follow as well at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram and TikTok, and Seymour Comedy on Twitter/X. Oh yeah. So Mr. Mo, it's time to roll. So won't you get us at it?
Carlos, I motion to adjourn this meeting.
And I second. All right, you guys, we're back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's a FratChat Podcast. Sweet.
Bye.